And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster, touching base with you as I do every day. What's going on? How are you doing today? It is Tuesday, Tip Tuesday, and we are going to be sharing. I'm going to be sharing with you. I'm going to doing it differently today because I know we brought this up. Let me just put this on the screen. I thought I had it set up for you. This is today's topic, and hopefully this will help you. And there you have it right there. And that is setting up stock image accounts, so that way you can make money from your photos, and how to do it and how to do it better. So we'll be talking about that on this wonderful Tip Tuesday. And so stay tuned for that. That's what's coming up later on. We're going to talk about a little bit of the economy in a moment, because the economy is deceptive. It's not what you think it is. And so you need to know. And again, you know that I'm very much in tune to this. Not that I am an expert. I did spend time working on Wall Street for about 13 years. Well, no, sorry, 15 years. And I know some history. So hopefully that will help you guys as you navigate these new waters economically. So we're going to talk about that also. And so those are the two things two main subjects for today. And the economy, you need to be aware of it. And also this is Tip Tuesday. So both of them are tips. Tip Tuesday, tips to get you guys ready for what possibly is coming in the economy, and also tips for you to make better photography so that you can make money over time in sharing and creating stock images. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. That's the subjects for today. And let me pop this off the screen for now. Usually I have the slide presentation, but this Tip Tuesday is going to be quite long, so we're going to start earlier. So because there's a lot of information, but you will be gaining some information to help you gain some money in your pocket. We've done the subject before, but now we're going to really dive in. Okay, let's see who's in the building. I see in the building. Wait a minute. We have a new gold star holder, and that is Tanja. What's going on, T? Miss T is in the building, and so good to see you. And for those that know, she is one of my precious, wonderful friends from working at the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival when I was up there photographing. And she and I have become friends ever since, and love her support, love her being here. It's so good to see you, Miss T. Miss T is in the building. We got a new silver. We got a new silver holder. We have a new silver holder, and that is Fifi. Good morning, Fifi. Fifi is here in the building. She has heard. She is ready. She's ready to go. And and Fifi is also someone that took tips. She's been listening to these Tip Tuesdays because she proved it when we were out on Saturday, hanging out. And third, the bronze goes to Mr. Anthony Rowland. He says, "Good morning, family." And wait a minute. And Omar's right behind him. Omar has been here all week, almost a solid week. Thank you, Omar. Thank you. It's so good to see you. He says, "Hello, everyone." Hey, everyone. And wait a minute. Rudy Martinez, thank you for the $1.99. Thank you for contributing and hitting that dollar button at the bottom of the comment box on YouTube. Thank you so much for contributing to what goes on here, because this money goes right back into Touch Base Daily. It pays for the bills. It pays to keep the lights on. It keeps us going. So thank you for the $1.99. Thank you for supporting. Every little bit counts, and I appreciate everything. Also, look who's in the building. It is Lisa. Lisa is the one that spurred for today's conversation. So Lisa last week said, "Ron, why don't you share? Why can't we talk about how to create a stock image account?" So we're going to go through Getty today, and we're going to go through Adobe today. And we're going to talk about those and ways to make money through your photography. So, Lisa, thank you for giving us our topic of the week. And also in the building, Fifi says good morning again. And we also say Shirlene is in the building. And again, if you're in the building, make sure you hit the likes because that's how YouTube works. Hit the likes, hit the likes. Also, Bryson is building. He says, what's up, Ron? What's up, everybody? Happy DWTS Tuesday. Okay. What is DWTS, Mr. Bryson? Not everybody knows. No abbreviations. Okay. And the wonderful Janet is in the building. She says, greetings, Such Space Daily World. How are you all? How are you all doing? Bryson says, what part of Puerto Rico you're going? I will be in San Juan, one of my favorite places to photograph. The great architecture. I love the sea, the ocean, seawall, the castles, the forts. I love it all. I love Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a beautiful place, and I will always say that America does not appreciate one of its amazing treasures. Puerto Rico is an amazing treasure. Rainforest, wild horses. There was incandescent. I'm going to call them the bio creatures that cause the colors in the water, which I'm hoping to photograph. But I'll be in Puerto Rico. Tomorrow's my last full day here in Charlotte. It has already been 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks has gone by. It is amazing. It is amazing. Time is flying by. We are already getting closer to Christmas. Yes, we'll be talking about Getty Images today. Getty Images and Adobe Stock Images. Okay, Lisa says, oh, good. I didn't think you saw that. Lisa, I see everything you post. Every single thing. If you post it in this screen, if you post it in the comment boxes, I see it. I mean, I get to it, but I see it. I mean, I have a chance to acknowledge because things go by so fast sometimes when you guys are talking. Hey, what's going on? We have sorry to get this here. Welcome. This is Layton E2G. What's going on? How you doing? Welcome. A new face in the crowd. Dancing with the Stars. Bryson, Dancing with the Stars is DWTS. Okay. Now we got it. Dancing with the Stars from Bryson. And thank you, Lisa. Lisa also says Dancing with the Stars. But not everybody knows that. Not everyone knows these abbreviations, Mr. Bryson. Whoa, there's someone else that contributes to this platform. Look at that, Miss Janet. Thank you for the $5. Oh, nicely. We're going to be able to pay for our StreamYard this month. And Omar says Puerto Rico is beautiful. It is a beautiful place. The best beaches in the world. Now, I don't know about the best beaches in the world, but I will say it has some of the best. It has some of the best beaches in the world. I will tell you. I went to, and I've heard the Keys are just amazing. I've never been to the Keys, but I've been to Barbados, and Barbados beaches are literally officially declared one of the best beaches in the world. We're a place where you can find the best beaches in the world, I should say. So, but Puerto Rico, yes, the beaches are beautiful. I love it. The clear water, the little lizards running around, iguanas. Love them. They're everywhere in Puerto Rico. Love them. Love photographing them. And let's see here. Anthony says, I loved visiting Puerto Rico. I am ready to go back. I'm telling you, it is one of America's treasures. More Americans should be visiting Puerto Rico. It's right in our backyard. It's the United States. Why not visit? Why not visit? Hey, it's so good to see Derek back in the building. Derek is back in the building. I don't know if we mentioned it here, but Derek had allergic reaction, and it was not good. And he's been healing from his reaction there. And so, anyway, so let's talk about the economy. And the reason why, you know, I have some of my friends, obviously, they're saying, "Hey, Ron, why did you sell your apartment? Why did you make all these drastic changes?" Well, one of the things I realized in as I was making decisions in last year, and I definitely said when if Trump was going to win the election, if Trump was going to win, I was going to sell. And because I am a believer, and I have to tell you, I'm not always right. I won't say that, but I am usually good at forecasting certain things. I have been really, I don't know if it's luck or if it's just intuitive behavior that I've acquired in my life, but I have been able to see the writing on the wall. My one of my colleagues used to always say that all the time. You should always look for the writing on the wall. And so I've been fortunate in several chapters of my life to see the writing on the wall. And so as I began to look at the economy and looked at the president, the new incoming administration, the lack of knowledge, the lack of, after going through the first term of the orange man, I realized that the economy was going to be horrible because we learned that in the last administration of this orange person. So as I watched the economy plunge in the last administration, also the mishandling of COVID, the mishandling of social justice, the mishandling of the economy, period, just all the mismanagement. And I realized that if this man made it back into office, our economy will never be the same. At least it's going, some economists say it's going to take decades for America to get out of this mess. What's coming and what we already are in. And I had this conversation with my friends. We were hanging out the other night. Oh, no, it was last night. So this is inspired by this conversation. And they like to shop. They like to go out and buy things for their community. And they were talking about all the prices. Now, I don't really shop that much for meats and stuff. I don't eat a lot of meat. I pretty much eat beans and berries and stuff like that. If I'm not eating fast food once in a while. And they were telling me how much the prices had gone up. Now, I've been reading because that's what I do. And I've been looking at economic reports because that's what I do. And I remember reading and hearing people online and people on YouTube and people on TikTok and people whenever I look at TikTok, I'm not really a TikTok person. And everyone was saying how their groceries are 3 times higher than it used to be. Not not double, 3 times. So Nia and I were having this conversation. Nia, Mimbo and I were in the car. We had this conversation, and they were like, hamburger prices. The hamburger meat she was telling me last night was 3 times. Nia makes a mean spaghetti sauce with the beef. And we were talking. And I said, she goes, Ron, it was $15 for that. For the meat that used to cost $4.49 is now $15. $15 for the meat. And we also know that we're hearing across the country, whether the media is covering it or not, but real people are talking on Instagram, real people are talking on YouTube, and they're saying how their prices are high, electricity's high, prices are not going lower, all the prices are up, all across the country, all the different companies, prices are insane. So, what does all of that mean? Dr. Tachi says, she says, $15, I'll take celery for 500. Alex, right? It is ridiculous out there for those that are shopping. It is ridiculous. So I said, wait a minute, maybe we need to have a reminder for our community, because this is a community and I am here to, as you know, to facilitate. And I said, wait a minute, if my friends are feeling it like this, and I do feel it when I go shopping. Don't get me wrong. I shop for some things and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's the price. But our economy is in trouble. Our economy is in trouble. Very much so. You can't eliminate more than 1 million jobs, and it doesn't have an effect on the economy as a whole. And that's the estimate. One more under this administration, more than 1 million jobs have been lost. More than 1 million jobs. We know just in Black women alone, it's more than 350,000 Black women have lost their job this year. And I don't know if you can see what that means to the economy, but people like myself, I think outside the box. Because I worked on Wall Street, I worked on the trading floor. I am used to looking at numbers, looking at where the economy is going, reading economic reports. This is what I used to do. This is my past life. Let's just go with the 300. I'm painting the picture for more than 1 million jobs have been lost in America this year. But let's go with the 350 Black women. Let's narrow it down to one of those Black women. That woman pays for gas to go to work, or she pays car fare to go to work. She pays money for her lunch to go to work. She pays for clothing to go to work. She pays for beauty supplies to go to work. She pays for moments of vacation and time to relax because she's a working woman. That one Black woman, also Omar says, and most likely childcare. That one Black woman contributes to the economy and to every type and every area of the economy. Healthcare, beauty care, transportation, groceries, food, lunches, hanging out with the girls. Maybe it's date night. That one Black woman. We use it. I mean, this is every woman. I mean, I'm just using, since we know statistically 350,000 plus Black women lost their jobs so far And now some more are going to lose because they're changing the rules of education and nursing in the medical industry. More disruptions in the economy. So think about that. That one Black woman, let's go another further. The one Black man or the one white man, or the white men, we're going to put them to the side because they've gained jobs under this administration. Got rid of Black women and put white men in their place. But that's another subject for another day. So the Black man has a car, transportation, gas, fixing the car, sports events, entertainment, traveling for work, traveling for family, going out to get things for the family, maybe taking care of the home, all these different things. Now, I'm not going into these stereotypes. But let's bring it back now to 1 million people have lost their jobs in the Trump economy. 1 million people plus and counting. And now, because of it, corporations are pulling back. Corporations are saying, we're not hiring. Corporations are saying, we're not doing longer hours. Corporations are cutting back on items, cutting back on people, like myself. I'm a photographer. I lost this year 1/3 of my clients because half my clients receive grants from the government. They lost their jobs. They lost their grants. So now they can't pay for a photographer. They can't pay for the things they need. So they have to cut back. So I began to see the writing on the wall. But let's go back to the 1 million. So you take that Black woman, that Black man, the cleaners person, the person that's in the neighborhood that does the cleaning for these people. Like, beautiful, you got to take a beautiful dress to the cleaners. Well, if they don't work, they're not going to the cleaners. The food truck guy that stands in front of the office building. The food guy, the guy that you get your tacos on Taco Tuesday. The food truck. This is like in New York, we got food trucks everywhere. Food trucks, right? Food trucks. Now he's not getting work. He's not getting money because what? All of those employees have been cut back. Some have been laid off. You cannot think that if you let go a million people, it's going to affect others. Because one person contributes to the economy, that dollar amount goes around and around in the economy. It pays for all these things, right? When you think about now, let's bring it back home to you. You are the consumer. America is built on consumption. No consumption, no economy. That's why when we had the shutdown, the whole pressure was to get everyone back to work. If there's no economy, if there's no consumers, there's no economy. If there's no economy, there's no money flowing. If there's no money flowing, people don't get paid. If people don't get paid or buy things, they get laid off. And it snowballs. So less money flows into the economy. More people are not making money. More people are not making money. So now they have to cut back, and now they cut back, and now more people can't make money. And it goes on and on and on. That is a snowball effect. The snowball effect can happen in two ways, negatively or positively. When you're in a negative snowball effect, it gets worse and worse. Ask the people of 1929. If you look at your history, when the crash of 1929 happened, economists, historians all know that the crash of 1929, one of the major contributors, tariffs. Tariffs. This is the reason why economic policies have been created over the last 100 years almost to never go back to tariff wars. So the writing is on the wall, folks. And since we are an economy, since we are a community, I must let you guys know what might be coming and most likely coming. For most of the country, for most of America, and different parts of the world, we are already in a recession. The reason why I sold my apartment, because again, I said I saw the writing on the wall. For all those people that have all of your eggs in one basket, you need to rethink and get all of your eggs out of the one basket. Well, my basket was my real estate. My real estate was my egg basket, and it had all of it in it. So now I had to disperse it all across. That was the reason. When I was trying to sell my apartment, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta hurry. I gotta hurry. Then remember the first person, for those that have been in our community, there was a first buyer, right? She pulled out at a higher price for my apartment. Oh my gosh, no, she pulled out. Lucky me, I had a great piece of real estate in a great neighborhood, in a great building with all that stuff. So after she got out, 5 days later, there was a new buyer. Less money, but a new buyer nonetheless. And I talked to my broker. I said, let's take it while we can. Because if I would have sold my apartment the end of last year, this time last year, I would have been at what's called the peak of real estate market. The peak of the real estate market. The peak across the country is no longer. For most people, we are in a decline in the real estate market. And most Americans that have real estate, that's where their wealth is connected to. So as the economy begins to crumble and dissipates, what else dissipates? Real estate. There's a lot going on in the economy right now that you need to be aware of. And you need to be looking at what's going on in the economy. You need to be putting money aside for that amazing, awful day that will come. And we got the economist, Dr. Dorian, in the building. I call him the economist. This show is nothing new. It's the same formula. Divide and conquer, typical capitalism, power, profit, control. The people creating the policy are the exact same people who stand to gain from this. Now, I could go into the history with that because people don't realize that most people don't know the history. Every crash that's happened in American history, rich people have made out like bandits. Some of the banks that we have today, like Chase Bank, JP Morgan, I'll use that, made good in 1929, 2008, other little mini recessions. But these are I want to call them, we had the Great Depression in 1929. We had a meltdown of the economy, 2008. You cannot put all your eggs in one basket. And if you have the ability to sell your home or your apartment, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, even though I just studied for my 6'3", my 6'3". I'm not in the ability to give you advice financially. But you really need to think about where the economy is going. That's going to take me to this video. Because this, I think, my friends, will help you understand. Then we're going to dive into some photography. I wanted to sound the alarm because numbers, for the most part, do not lie. People can make numbers lie, but overall, numbers in economics do not lie. Here we go.
Take off. Well, some of it's already started, Sean, but some of it is going to take a long time because we inherited a disaster. We inherited the highest peacetime debt and deficits in the history of the United States of America. We inherited the worst inflation crisis.
I want you to remember, this is a lie. Vance is lying his pants off. He never, and the Republicans never, ever state. They say they inherited a bad economy. We all know that's not true. Was it better than 20 years ago or worse than 20 years ago? Probably in some cases. But they leave out that Biden corrected what the last Trump administration created. The F-ups, the mess-ups, the horror of not managing the COVID crisis, the mismanagement of debt, the mismanagement, adding the highest debt in American history under the Trump administration. They forget all of that. Just to let you know. Just gotta put them through
this in at least the last 40 years, and I think probably longer. I know that there are a lot of people out there, Sean, who are saying things are expensive. And we have to remember they're expensive because we inherited this terrible inflation crisis from the Biden administration. But you've already seen signs that things are getting better. The price of eggs has gone way down. The price of energy has gone way down. The price of gasoline has gone way down. And as we know, when the price of energy goes down, that starts to filter out into the entire economy. But that also takes a little bit of time.
Vice President J.D. Vance, Fox News, earlier this month, blaming the Biden administration for the country's current economic issues, particularly on affordability. But a recent Fox News poll shows almost 2/3 of voters surveyed say President Trump is responsible now for America's economy. Join us now, former Treasury official, Morning Joe economic analyst Steve Ratner, with his charts on the state of the economy.
This is a triumphant return.
Look at this.
For Steve Ratner, the New York Times building.
Yes, the prodigal son returns. Steve,
I like
you
your
worked
charts.
here, what, 45, 50 years ago?
I started here almost exactly 50 years ago.
Wow.
50 years and a couple months ago, I came here as a cub reporter.
I mean, the easiest way to test a nonstick is to cook an egg. Now look, check out that Glide. This is the first nonstick made.
That's so cool.
Covering Metro. Down on the third floor
For the New York Times.
For the New York Times.
This is old New York Times building, and you were here, and you worked on the same floor as Willie's dad.
I worked on the same floor as Willie's dad, and you know, when I was 23 years old, and it was a cool experience. You came in, you typed your copy on an old-fashioned typewriter. You yelled copy, and somebody came and got it, but you could only submit it one page at a time, so you couldn't go back and change anything. And then it got set in type on the fourth floor, which was the composing room in what we called hot type, you know, the old linotype machines. Then it went down to the basement and got printed on presses down in the basement. Meanwhile, we would finish our stories around 6:30 or something like that because we had a deadline. It wasn't a 24-hour newspaper. And then we'd go downstairs out the back door, go to Sardi's, hang out at the bar.
Now we get to the good part.
Hang out at the bar for a couple hours, and then we'd come back up around
First chart. Starting with the weak labor market, what are you seeing there?
Well, the point I'm making is that Vance can say that they inherited a bad economy, but the problem is the economy is actually getting worse, not better. You can inherit a bad economy, then you're supposed to do stuff to make it better. And virtually every statistic shows it's in fact worse under Trump than it was under Biden in his last year. So if you take a look, for example, at payrolls growth, you can see under Biden, we averaged about 170,000 jobs a month. And under Trump, it's dropped to something like 77,000 jobs per month. And so we're actually going the wrong way. And if you read any story, look at any statistic, any survey, and there was a big one in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, everybody is talking about how this is one of the worst job markets since the Great Recession, especially
Steve,
for young people.
What's driving that, especially for young people who, I'm telling you, this is such a growing crisis. Young people in college at great universities, even at great universities, getting out to no jobs. What's going on there, and what is making the labor market so weak right now?
There's it's a 9.2% unemployment rate among people 20 to 24 who are looking for jobs, and I think there's a couple of factors. You have to say that AI is a piece of this. I don't know how big of a piece of it. A lot of it is because of all the uncertainty under Trump. The tariffs are on, the tariffs are off. We don't really know. Companies are just cutting back. They're just becoming leaner. The economy is slower, as I'll talk about in a minute, and so they don't need as many people. And they've just really started to reduce their hiring in a dramatic way for these various reasons, from worries about the economy, AI, and so forth.
All right, let's take a look at your second chart, and that is affordability and growth challenges. This is the issue. President Trump has called the affordability crisis a hoax, a con job, but then rolling back tariffs to address just that affordability.
Well, again, affordability comes down in large part to economic growth. You have to have economic growth in order for people to have more income and therefore to be able to buy more stuff. And economic growth is also going the wrong way. You can see under Biden, it averaged 2.4% in his last year, and it was steady upward. Under Trump, it's bounced around, but it's going to average only 2% this year. And even the 2% that Trump is going to get is heavily driven by all this AI spending on data centers that you've been reading about and talking about, which obviously have nothing to do with him. And so the economy is in fact slowing, not growing faster, and a downward trend. The fourth quarter could be down here in the 1 to 1.5% range. And then you also hear, when you talk about affordability, about housing. And so housing starts, which is what we need more housing, obviously, for people to be able to afford them, have dropped. And you can see what they did under Biden, and you can see down here under Trump, they are lower. And so we're building fewer houses. And so so Vance can talk all he wants about inheriting a bad economy, but what you have to be able to do is then make the economy go the right way, even from whatever you get, rather than going the wrong way. And right now, it is going the wrong way, and especially on jobs and affordability.
All right, on your third chart, Steve, we're looking at inflation, which has been persistent in part because of the tariffs.
Exactly. And so again, they talk about inflation, and they talk about, and he said it in that clip about he inherited the worst inflation in 50 years and all that kind of stuff. It was 3% when he inherited it, less than 3%. And what's happened here is inflation did start to go down under Trump, but then you had the tariffs, and now it's back up to 3%, and that puts pressure on the Fed's ability to cut interest rates. In comparison, Goldman Sachs, before Trump got here, Goldman Sachs, assuming a more normal set of policies, thought inflation would be down to 2.2% at this point. And in fact, because of the tariffs and everything else Trump has done, it's back up to 3% and growing at the moment. And all of that put together has created this incredibly pessimistic mood among people, where consumer sentiment now is down all the way down here. It is down. In fact, if I took this chart back further, it would be down to levels of the great financial crisis.
Oh my God.
In terms of how people feel about this economy. They are unbelievably negative about this economy. And so, as I said, Vance can talk all he wants, but if it had gotten better, we've now almost a full year into the Trump administration. If it had gotten better, you'd think people would start to recognize that and feel that. It doesn't show up in the numbers, and it doesn't show up in what people are telling pollsters and so forth about how they feel.
So there you have it, guys. So that is, I wanted to make sure you saw the facts, the numbers to go with this conversation. And why am I saying that? This is our community. And a lot of us are creatives. There's a lot of creatives in this community. Lots of photographers, lots of artists, lots of creatives. We have to start getting ready for what could be a very, very, very bad economy. It is coming. It is on the horizon. I tell you, I say that because I am a creature of habit. I mean, I do make changes and moves here and there. For me to sell my apartment means I feel something strongly about to happen. No one just sells their home, right? No one just sells their home. Yes, I'm using it to my advantage to go and travel and meet my friends and spend time with them and photograph the world. Yeah, yes. This is a great time to do it. And I say this from my heart. We, as creatives, I know we don't. We like to bury our heads. Some creatives, we like to bury our heads because we're gonna make it. And I have some friends that say it's all gonna be okay. It's just not gonna. Guys, you must prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I felt this was very important to let you guys. I saw the numbers this morning with Ratner sharing his numbers. I came across last night. Obviously, like I said, my friends, we were talking last night. Then last night I came home to a video on another. I had saved it for you guys. We don't need to belabor the thought. And she was saying about Nebraska. I think it's Tyson Company just laid off people. They're not making enough money. They're restructuring their company. I do believe we are about to see something most of us have never seen before. Some of us have been around for some of these economic troubles. Some of us. But you have to be thinking about your what ifs. What if I lose my job? What if my wife loses her job? My partner loses their job? Can we survive? And if those questions and those answers are no, then you have to start strategizing. You also have to start surrounding yourself with people that are wiser than you financially. Community, Dorian says it. Here we go. Community is key. We are not seeing the big picture. We are at a historical tipping point. History repeats itself. And for those that study history, we like to say, history may not repeat itself all the time, but it sure enough will rhyme. It surely will rhyme. You have to begin to think about putting money aside every paycheck. Put it aside. Cut back where you can cut back, because the economy is not going to become better. Not in this close future. It's only going to get worse under this administration. Some say this is what they're trying to do. Don't know. But I know one thing is that, speaking for someone that has lived a little bit, like Don Lemon likes to say, old folks be knowing, you have to see the writing on the wall. You have to diversify. You have to start getting cash. When Warren Buffett, 2 years, was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. Warren Buffett started to pull all his money out of the market and convert into cash. Warren Buffett, one of my favorite CEOs, economy, mind, brains of the world, right? He started converting to cash. Convert where you can. Cash is king in this economy that's coming and that is today. Young people do not have jobs. You just saw this, the numbers. Young people are leaving college with no opportunities. No opportunities. No opportunities. That is a problem. When young people don't have a thing to do, a purpose, things go badly with them very quickly. The economy is not sustainable when people are unemployed. And you can continue over and over and over again. People, it's a spiral now. The stock market is not an indicator of how people are doing. The stock market, every day I follow the stock market. Every day I'm like, what in the world? How is this not being reflected in the markets? The stock market is on a rant. I mean, there's been a couple of records, but it is not the picture of the economy. This is not the picture of the economy. The stock market is false. It is not reality. So prepare for the worst. Hope for the best. My tip for you on this Tip Tuesday, as in we as creatives, we rely on clients. We rely on our our customers. But if they don't have jobs, they can't buy. And if they can't buy, we can't sell. Jazzy says, this man has raised our deficit by $3 trillion in 11 months. So I know this is not our happy message today. We'll get into that later. We're going to be extended today, just so you know. This is not a go-lucky, like, hey, guys, we just got some good news and we're moving on. No. This Tip Tuesday is about we as a community, being awake of what's going on. I am a believer of being woke. I am not afraid of the word woke. Woke just means being aware, knowing what's going on. Be woke. Know what's happening. Read my mother used to, when I was growing up, my mother made me read the financial page. Well, that's why I used to call me Alex Keaton when I was a kid. The New York Times. If you could just read it once a week, read the financial section. Get in the habit of teaching your children to read the financial section. My aunt used to make us read. She also, with my cousins, would say, you have to read the New York Times at least once a week. Now, I graduated from the New York Times and went to the Wall Street Journal. You should understand financially what's happening, not just here in America, but at least start with America, and also what's going on around the globe. The rest of the world just had the G20 this past weekend, and the end of last week. The United States was not there. And you know what they said? Good. They said it was the smoothest G20 meeting in South Africa than they've had in years and decades, because the American president was not there with all of his drama. The people could focus on one another. All of the big countries were talking and sharing and swapping ideas, learning from one another. And guess what's happening around the world, y'all? If you don't know, the world is writing a script to succeed without America. This is why it is my belief, and listening from economists and looking at history, there's almost no coming back in our lifetime. Once this bubble has burst, it's over. And you have to survive. So the rest of the world is moving on, because this orange fool has made some horrible decisions that affects the whole planet. And it affects you too. So that's your information. Like I said, that's your tip for today. I saw also Dorian said something here. I thought this was really good. Dorian said, hold on a second. Rule 10, 10, 80, a fiscal formula: save 10, 10 service, 80 live. 10, 10, 80, a fiscal formula: save 10, 10%, use 10% to serve for services, 80% you live off of. So, and we have a couple of people in this community that do know finances, and Dorian's another person that's very smart. Again, he's going to be sharing some stuff, some tips with you guys. We have to get our schedule set up. I see someone says facts, Ron. Mimi says facts, Ron. Right? Okay, so are y'all guys ready for photography? Are you guys ready for some photography that's going to help you? I think you are. Let's do that. Let's dive into that. It's going to be a little lengthy, but we're going to go overtime today, just so you know. We'll probably end about 12:30, just so you know. And because since we're in this, there are still some ways that you might be able to make money. Because here's some things that you might have thought about. Most of us in this community are photographers. Most of us. But others are artists. Like I said, this is a community where creatives hang out. So you have to think outside the box a little bit. And since I'm going to be doing this, I said, why not share it? And since Lisa brought it up, I said, why not share it? If companies are no longer going to be hiring photographers like they used to, where are they going to get their photographs from? If corporations need photography. Photography is important. Photography is, you cannot have a business without photography. You need photography to show off whatever you're doing, whether you are a sports person or you healthcare, whatever it is. You need photography to show off your business or to tell your business visual story. So where do people go? If they can't hire photographers, if they can't hire a photographer like myself, I have to think outside the box. I have to think of, how am I going to get revenue? How am I going to get money from many sources outside of being hired from my clients who no longer can hire me like they used to? Yes, I can go out and network more and find more clients, but they're in the same boat too. There's less money in the economy that's being used for photography, for artists, for creatives. So this is one. We are going to talk about something that's really important for photographers and creatives, and that is the wonderful world of stock images. And let me get here. Let me get there. Now, I did not do my regular slide presentation. This is found in our, everything we do on Tip Tuesday is found in our Patreon community. A lot of folks here in Patreon support what we do here. But if you want to go to Patreon and you want to check out what we do, there's the QR code on the top there. Okay, so this is part of our Patreon community. Patreon folks got this yesterday leading into today, so they can do their homework if they want to read it ahead of time. The Patreon folks got this late, I'd say yesterday evening, last night. So here we are. Let's talk stock footage. Let's talk setting up stock images. Let me pop that. Is that going to be too big? That fits perfectly. Excellent. Setting up stock images accounts. Like you see, I have this little Christmas ball. This Christmas ball thing that I created here has sold several times on Getty Images. It's just, I took pictures of my Christmas decorations. Took pictures of Christmas decorations. Oh, these are decorations along Fifth Avenue. Just walked around Fifth Avenue, taking pictures of Christmas stuff. And then every year around Christmas, someone buys this image. Several people buy this image. Tip Tuesday, setting up stock image accounts. In today's digital marketplace, photography isn't just about capturing moments. It's about creating opportunities. Platforms like Getty Images and Adobe Stock allow photographers to transform their work into income streams while reaching audiences across the globe. For our Touchbase Daily community, learning how to set up contributor accounts is the first step toward turning creativity into commerce. This journey is more than technical. It's about positioning your vision where the world can see it. By understanding the requirements, preparing your strongest images, and navigating the submission process with care, you'll be ready to showcase your artistry on two of the most influential platforms in the industry. Together, we'll explore how to build contributor accounts, meet professional standards, and begin licensing images that can carry your unique perspective into homes, businesses, and publications worldwide. We're going to start off with Getty Images. Number one, Getty Images. The most important of these is Getty Images. Getty Images, like you'll see, like if you go through your Google and you see movie stars and they get pictures taken of them at events, the Met and all the other places around the country, around the world. And then at the bottom, in the middle, near the bottom, I call two-third line, you see across it says Getty Images. And then it has the photographer's name. Now that's an upper tier that you might go and do, and you're allowed to do. You can apply for that in the contributor app or it's the contributor website. That's for photographers like myself. We contribute. We have a contribution page that we contribute on a certain level. But we're talking about stock images, where people use your images for their purposes in business. So here we go. Back to the notes here. Number one of this, apply via the Getty contributor portal. Start at the Getty Images contributor community. Let me take you there. Hold on a second. Let me take you there because this is where you're going to begin. And this is where it's probably going to open up my account. Hold on a second. I don't know if I want my account to be exposed to the world, but let me just go here and put it in here. Okay. Will it show up? Okay, so I'm going to show you the page. I'm going to move this out stop sharing this. And then I'm going to put this in there for you. I think you can see that. Hold on a second. Here we go. We're going to share the Getty Images contributor page. This link will be also in our description. So this page is called the Getty Image contributor page, where it's just called iStock. Anyone could be a part of this. Yes, there are standards, and we're going to talk about those standards. But this is a contributor page. And in it, you can go in. I think it will sign me in if I go in. Let me see if it signs me in. And it won't show my password, but let me go in there. Okay. So close. Okay. So let me see if it has my page and all of my account. Let me go to my. So you can go in here. It shows you how to do it, gives you steps. It has also on the other side here rewards, creative resources, community hub, help center, getting started, learn, education, how to do it. Everything is right here. I think Getty does the best job in explaining all of this. Let me see. I'm clicking with fear and trepidation. I don't want everyone to go into my account and know what's going on. Well, you can't go into my account technically. Where's my page? Where's mine? Okay, so it's not showing my stuff yet. So, okay, it's not going to go there, which is good. Account management, uploads, contribute community. Okay, so this is just the basic right now. So if I wanted to, so if I wanted to go to my account, this is a layout here. It says, welcome contributors. Here you'll find the tools, data, and support to manage and grow your business. Okay, so I can go in here, it goes in, it just has the content, has the performances, like you can get royalties, content statistics. Here also is on my account, it says update personal information, payment options, update tax information, because you got to have tax information. You have to be a citizen of the United States with working ability to be taxed. Resources, how to upload, create resources, create a briefing. Has my name in there. Hold on a second. I'm not sure why my account is not showing up right now, but maybe that's a good thing. Okay, but in here, usually I can go in. I can usually go in and it will show my my photos, everything, uploads, and review account content. Let me see if that happens. Okay, they changed some rules, so sometimes they change the rules. You have to kind of accept. Okay, so I can go in here, create batches, right? I can create batches of photos, add the photos, and then in here I can establish submission types, where I want to put them, the batch, the date, put the information in, create it, and it will plug in and it will be on. Okay. So I'm just trying to find out. I want to go to my account. Okay, can't go. That's okay. There's my account. Has some of my information there. My website is ronlewisphotos.com. Has my name there, my URL, my picture. I'm going to change that picture. That picture needs to be changed. But it goes on. And you put your information there. I won't go to the top of it because it has all my numbers and stuff. But again, this is what it looks like when you're contributing to Getty Images. Okay? Same thing is similar in Adobe. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this. And now we're going to go in. So you know what this page looks like. Now I'm going to go in to how you can contribute. So let's do that. Let's go back to Getty. Let's go back to our lesson. Okay, so we got that, right? And if you have any questions, make sure you put a Q and then your question, and then we'll address it at the end. Okay? You have a question, we'll do that in the Q&A. Okay, so the next one is eligibility. So you know what the page looks like. Anyone can apply, but Getty is selective. They often review portfolios before granting access. So how do they do that? You probably would, you could set up a blog page with a .com, like, you know, bloggers have .com, and put photos in it so people can see it. like a portfolio. You can use if you have on Adobe, you can use your Behance page. So once you have an Adobe account, you can set up your Behance. That's another. So you can do that, and then it's a free website. So you can put all your photos in one place, and then they can review it and see the quality of your work. Here's another thought. Prepare your content. Ensure images meet technical standards. They're very strict on this, y'all. Sharpness, resolution, no watermarks. Releases are required for recognizable people or property. You can't show faces unless you have a model release form. You can't show logos of businesses. For instance, if you'll see in most commercials on TV or most commercials on the periodicals, they will have a Nikon camera, but you don't see the Nikon name. They put a black tape over the Nikon and then use the camera and photograph the camera in whatever they're trying to create. So anytime you have name brands anywhere around, even in the streets, if you're photographing in the street, you have to make sure that you blur out your names of businesses in the background, because they can get in trouble for sharing recognizable people and property. So you have to, in your mind, already say, I am not going to photograph names of properties, names that are of people, also people's faces. So the best photos are from the rear, from the back, right? Also, next one, legal requirements. As I just said, model and property releases must be signed and uploaded for applicable images. Unauthorized use of trademarks or copyrighted material is prohibited. You must be conscious of these things. Now, if you are a photographer and you photograph someone's face and you want to use that image, you should have a property release or a model release. How do you can do that? There are certain apps inside your app store. Like I have the model release form app in the Apple Store or the Samsung or Google Play Store. You can get a model release app where you can put all the main information in it. When you photograph a model or a person, they fill it out, they sign it, and then you have that information there. Then if you submit this work to Getty, you submit your photo with the model release form for them to be able to use it. You need to have proof that the model is okay with their image being on Getty Images. Same thing for Adobe. Okay? So you want to make sure you do that. Next, the submission process. Upload through their contributor tools. I just took you to the page and I just showed you the tool. You click in, you can do it by batches, you can do it by individuals. Make sure you include the metadata, titles, keywords, categories. It's critical for discoverability. So on that side, you saw there's going to be a little section that asks for like your hashtags, keywords, your title. You want to make sure you title it properly. Like I have here, apples, a barrel of apples, a batch of apples. You'll put in keywords so that way when it's in the system, people can find your photo. This is a very generic photo. It's just of apples. No names, nothing there. So if someone wants to use this photo for an advertisement or for packaging, they will pay Getty for it. I will get a percentage. I do believe now it's 60%, 40-60. Getty gets 40%, I get 60%. I believe that's still the number. Okay? So submission process, upload through their contributor tools. Make sure you include all the metadata, titles, keywords, categories. It's critical for discovery. Earnings. Contributors earn royalties each time their content is licensed. So what someone will do, a company will do, is they will ask for a license to use your photo. And I do believe it's still 60-40. So when that person signs whatever that form is on the Getty Images, they will sign, I submit, I'm paying for it. They may pay $200, maybe it's 50 cents. It can range. The range is big. When I first started with my contributions on Getty, some of my photos used to get $100 for licensing, $200 for licensing. It's not that way in today's world because so many people are contributors. There are lots of contributors. There are lots of people that contribute. So now you don't get as much. Sometimes it's 50 cents. Sometimes it's 75 cents. Sometimes it's $1.25. But the key to the stock image game, as they call it, is flooding your page, your account, with beautiful photos, right? One is that will give you a higher rate of people going to your name. They'll say, oh, wow, Ron Foster, he does these kinds of photos. Oh, I can guarantee I'm going to get some wildlife. I'm going to get some nature and landscapes, right? So they start associating, people that go to the account will start associating their needs with your name, and they will count on you all the time. So that's how you can also build a consistency in clientele through being a contributor. The other way is flooding the zone, as they like to say, flood the zone. All the great photos that you've taken over the years that may be sitting in the cloud, and these photos are beautiful, but no one knows they exist anyway. They're sitting in your cloud. Go through them one by one. Make sure they're beautiful. Make sure they're sharp. Make sure they look good. Make sure they are everything, all the requirements, and then submit them into your contributor tool so that it now becomes part of your account. And once it's in the account, then what Getty will do, and Adobe, they will go through it, and you will get an approval or a disapproval, or like they like to say, reject. So you get a approval or a reject. Now, sometimes when they give you a reject, they will tell you the reason why they rejected this photo. And then it's up to you if you want to resubmit it, go back, photograph it differently, and then resubmit. Is this making sense, y'all? I know this is deep. So the same thing happens at Adobe. Same thing, right? This is Adobe. I'm going to go through it quickly with Adobe. I'm not going to go through my Adobe account. But how is this sounding for you guys? Are you learning anything today? Are you learning anything today here? I hope you are. I hope you are. Let me see here. This is good information, says Dr. Tachi. This is good information. Let's see here. Wait, I'm just going to. Omar says, one day I will go through the millions of photos I have on my server and get them into stock barns. That's right. That's right. You got to do it. If you want to, this is how you make this. Now that I'm getting older and I can't get out as much, I know there's going to come a time that I'm not going to be climbing dunes and doing, physical stuff to get photos. There's a time that's going to be where I'm not going to be getting on the floor taking pictures for my clients in a photo shoot. But what I am now preparing for the future is to put as many of my photos into stock images. Since I have these accounts, Adobe, I've had it for years, and I have my Getty Image account. I am now going to fill them up with all my photos because I have millions of photos. I'm going to go through them. I have time now to do it. But if you don't have the time, make time. Say, you know what? I'm a busy photographer. I am going to take Sunday evenings or Saturday evening, take an hour or two just to dedicate to it once a week. That once a week over time, as we say on Wall Street, has an intrinsic value. Intrinsic value. That is the value over time. Intrinsic value. So the more you put in over time, just like you do if you invest in your IRA or your 401k, or right, as you put money in or you put photos in over time, you accumulate your portfolio and you accumulate your variety of what you can offer people who are looking for photography. Okay, let's go to, I want to go through Adobe really quick. Okay, here we go. Adobe Stock Contributor account. Same, pretty much the same. Create an Adobe ID. Sign up free at the Adobe Stock Contributor portal. Now, let me see if mine is available. Let me just hold on a second. And I'm just gonna copy that and see something. If that may be more, hopefully that's my clearer one. Let's see. Okay, going in there real quick. Sorry for a moment. Just want to get if I can share this with you, I'm going to do it. Okay. Y'all want to, here's a page that you will laugh at. And this is because I don't really contribute like I should. But I am now changing my philosophy. The economy's changing. I need to rethink. But here you go. You want to see something funny? Here we go. Let me show you something funny. This is my account in Adobe. And don't laugh. Don't laugh when you see this. Okay, here we go. So this is my account from this year so far. I've made $10.36. And this is without doing anything. Literally, I really don't contribute, but I am now going to start contributing to my account. So my earnings for the four uploads that have been making money over time. They're the same four things. It gives you these are the photos that are on my page that I've contribute. Some have been downloaded 4 times. Some have been downloaded 2 times. This one was downloaded 2 times. One was downloaded 2 times. These are over the years that these photos have been. This is my Adobe account, right? So these are the pictures on my Adobe account. Some have been bought, some are not. These are my top sellers on the top here. These are my top sellers. No one has even bought. No one has bought these down here, right? But I put them in. You never know, right? So this is all the photos I have. Now, this one I use more often than I use my Getty contributor, which is, I talked to someone from Getty while I was on assignment, and they were like, you should use your Getty more often. I said, you know what? I will. So, but here it is. There's my graph. There's the money I made, $1 here, nothing here, another $1 there, nothing here. But again, I don't use it. I don't use it like I'm supposed to. Confession is good for the soul. But I am now re-evaluating how I use these platforms. Because there's money, I'm leaving money on the shelf. And they say, I'm leaving money on the table. When I have all these photos, I mean, I have literally, I have 1 million photos. But look at available earnings. So right now, I have $10 banked, $10.36. But believe it, if I had, let's say I had 1,000 photos on this platform, it would change the numbers. Who does not want an extra $1,000 a year? Right? There you have it. So I wanted to share that with you. Okay, let's go back to the Adobe. I hope this is making sense for you all. I really do, because the photographers out there, this is some of the ways you can make some money along with your projects and what you do. Okay, here we go. So let's go back to Adobe. Adobe. Create an Adobe account. We already saw that. Verification. New contributors must verify both email and phone number before uploading. No, here's another one. Profile setup. Add display name, cover image, payout method, and tax information. This ensures proper payment and compliance. Both of these platforms require tax information. Okay? Either through your company that's already set up as an LLC or you as a personal individual. I've set mine up in my personal individual, so they're not really connected to my Ron Lewis Photos company. They're connected to me as Ron Foster. Okay. Let's see here. And upload content. Adobe accepts photos, videos, vectors, and illustrations. Review their submission guidelines to avoid rejection. What has happened over time, Adobe used to concentrate a lot on photos. But now we live in a digital era where everything is lots of videos. You will gain more money in your Adobe account by posting videos, videos of water, videos of the sunset, videos of a mountain range, videos of whatever, snippets. So sometimes when I'm on projects, I do snippets. But now, because you have an amazing smartphone in your pocket that does 4K for most of us, you can just take that little phone and do 30-second snippets, 15-second snippets, and submit. Do you see where I'm going with this? You can create money for yourself. Like I said, the more you give into this project, the more you will have. If you treat it like I did over the years, I'll just do it once here, once there. But the economy, the way we're going, you might have to rethink, photographers out there, of how you make extra money, videographers, because you're in this community. Also, same thing with Getty. Metadata matters. Metadata matters. Titles, keywords, and categories help buyers find your work. Adobe provides keywording tools to optimize visibility. The great thing about these tools now, on my account, I could put in an image, and because of AI, now Getty uses it, and in Adobe, but I use it more on Adobe. Adobe will automatically create keywords based on your image. It knows what your image looks like, and it produces keywords. So it's easier than it used to be. And then, last but not least on this, payment. Here we go. Same thing as Getty. Royalties are paid once you reach the minimum payout threshold. For mine, I think it's $100. So once mine gets to 100, it sends me a check for $100. So it'll accumulate. So that 1032 that you saw, if I sell more during the Christmas holiday or whatever, it will eventually get to 100. And after it gets to 100, then they're going to send me a check for $100. Who doesn't want a $100 check once in a while? Right? Or you can set your threshold to 1,000, whatever you want. Okay. Now I took this photo. Someone requested this for a project I was doing for stock photos. But this was the first image of what I was doing. But I had to go back into this and take out like the news 1055 or Channel 4 News. I was on a project for a Black Lives Matter. And I took photos. They wanted a media shot. I was like, oh, I got that. This is all the media, the press. And they wanted the stock image. So I ended up, this is during COVID. And I went through and made some corrections, got rid of the brand names, just little tweaks. And then I submitted it. And the company used it. Okay. So again, these are the things you need to do. Things to remind your community. Things to remind us as our community. Quality first. Both platforms reject low resolution, poorly lit, or heavily edited images. Don't edit too much. Keep it simple. Submit only your strongest work, as if you were submitting it to a gallery, because it is a gallery. Also, don't submit black and whites. If the company wants to buy the photo, they can easily make it black and white. So don't send black and white. Send color photos. They can change it to black and white. Legal releases. It is important to use models and property releases. We already talked about that. You can get those on apps. There are apps in the App Store for photographers for model and property release forms. And you can store it and save it into your data. With them, images featuring people or private property will be rejected. One account rule. Adobe Stock allows only one contributor account per person. So you can't say, I'm going to go in as Ron Lewis Photos and then Ron Lewis Foster, blah, blah, blah. No, you only get one account per person. Consistency. I lack this, but I'm not going to lack it any longer because I see the writing on the wall. Upload regularly to build visibility. A portfolio with variety, lifestyles, architecture, events tends to perform better. Think of holidays, Thanksgiving photos. When you're with your family this weekend, Thanksgiving, take photos of your family without their faces. The faces turned away from you. Maybe it's the turkey on the table. Maybe it's food. Maybe it's the gathering. Maybe it's just the crowd. Take pictures of your Thanksgiving event. We've already talked about how to document so many things in this community. Use those tips to your advantage. These photos tend to perform better because there's always going to be Thanksgiving. There's always going to be Halloween. There's always going to be Christmas. Those things that are regulars. People are always looking for seasonal photos. Also for Adobe, tax and payment setup. Contributors must provide a tax info W-9 for use for U.S. residents and a W-8BEN for non-U.S. residents. Without this, payouts may be delayed, as in they are not coming unless you have filled that out. Okay? In conclusion, building a presence on platforms like Getty Images and Adobe Stock is more than just opening an account. It's about stepping into the global marketplace of visual storytelling. This is work, y'all. It is a form of work. There are people that do stock images for a living. That's all they do. By preparing high-quality images, respecting legal requirements, and thoughtfully adding metadata, photographers position themselves not only to earn royalties, but also to have their work seen and valued by diverse audiences worldwide or around the world. For our community, this is an invitation to transform creativity into opportunity. Treat each upload as a professional showcase. Approach releases and metadata as tools of empowerment, ensuring your stories are both protected and discoverable. Remember that consistency and quality build visibility over time. Ultimately, these platforms are gateways to legacy. Every image you contribute becomes part of a larger archive of human experiences, an archive that can inspire, inform, and endure. Let's take this step together, turning a collective vision into a shared presence on the world's biggest stages for photography. Did you learn anything, guys? How did I do? How did I do? How did I do? Did you get any information out of this? Did you learn anything? Did you learn anything? Dr. Taji says you can also use ChatGPT or generative AI to ask what types of video clips and photos people are searching for. That is true. Mimi says, yes, I did Sitting Hearts. And Dr. Tachi says, great job. Great job. Yes, Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi says, I want to try and do the same with video clips. It's important. Oh, and Janet says, this is amazing, Ron. Learning a lot of stuff. Anthony says, I need to go through the thousands of photos I have on my drives. This is passive income that will add up in the background while I'm doing other stuff. Dr. Tachi says, Ron, don't spend that whole $10.36 in one place now. There's a recession. This is someone that's been in the game for a long time. Omar says, great points, Ron. Great points. And and Dr. Stein said, I don't believe that. My friend, you will always be climbing dunes. When I get to Namibia, I'll be climbing my first dunes again. Omar said, one day I will go through the millions of photos I have on my server and get them into Stock Barns. Okay. I hope this was beneficial to you guys, especially you photographers out there. It is so important that you think outside the box. The economy that we're heading into is going to reshape everything we know about our business. Everything. Everything. Nothing is not on the table for change. You are dealing with a horrible economy that's coming. You are dealing with AI, artificial intelligence, but you got to harness it. I use my AI when I'm creating these lessons. You have to harness the technology. I go in, I write what I want, I say what I want to say, and then I say, AI, make this better for me, for my community. And now my AI, just a hint, my AI knows my personality. It knows how I talk. It knows me. My AI knows me by name. When I go onto my Copilot and I start talking, he said, hey, Ron, what's going on? What we got? How can I help you today? Don't be afraid of technology. Do not be afraid. It is here for you to use because the world is not going backwards. The world will continue to move forward. And you either go forward with the world, as in technology, or you will be left behind. Your business will die. You as a person, and you will become less valuable to your company if you work for someone. You need to know AI. You need to use it every day. You need to figure out ways to make it part of your life. When I was with Adrian and Nancy, I put them on to my Copilot, right? My Copilot calls it. Like I said, when I talk to them, I go, hey, Copilot, what do I said, I have a couple of questions. I want a lesson for my Touch Base Daily community. You go, hey, okay. So you want to do something on photography today? He already knows. My Copilot already knows that you exist, that you are my community. And I just simply go in and then he tweaks it. I mean, mine is he has a black man's voice. he's really hip. And then I put Nancy onto it, put Adrian onto it. They were like, oh, holy moly. Yo, don't be afraid of the technology. I'm 61 years old and I am not afraid. I know it's hard to believe for some people. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to learn. You will only become a better person. I see here, Mimi says, you can also turn art and pics into wallpaper. Print on demand is on another level now. Yes, indeed. Multiple streams of income is necessary. We cannot depend on one stream of income. Let AI be your friend, y'all. And again, we talked about the economy And you saw how we tied this into the economy. This is going to help you in your economy and how you survive what's coming. The writing's on the wall. Things will get tough. And we photographers and creatives are going to have to find other ways to supplement our incomes. This could be one of those forms to supplement your income. Dedicate once a week, 2 hours a week. Do it. And you'll be saving yourself in the future. One more from Mimi. She says, you can also turn art. Okay, we got that one. Okay, got that. Okay, so guys, I think we're good. No, I'm going to leave it out without my, well, first of all, I'm going to say the first of all thing. Thank you, Patreon members. Your support helps us create amazing content. If you are interested in becoming a Patreon member and you like what we do here, if this information helps you, well, there's a lot more where this came from. You go to the Patreon page, you go to our Patreon community, all of our Tip Tuesdays are right there. Every one of them for the last 3 years are all in our Patreon community. All you have to do is scan the QR code, become a member, become a paying member. I know we have a lot of free members. I'm not knocking the free members, but don't be free forever. Come in, support. Look, the lowest one is $3 a month. I think I'm worth $3 a month. Go for it. What we do here, this community is worth more than $3 a month. So, but is that all you can afford? Then do that. But support. Become a part of our Patreon community. This is where all of our information lives. You will see all of this there. Okay, even some of our videos. Also, I am an event photographer. That's what I do on the main. If you have a project, I do photojournalism events, and I do corporate events and private events. So if you need an event photographer and I'm in your town, because I'm traveling around the states and around the globe now these days, give me a call. Let me know how I can help you with your next event. Also, join our email list, because maybe these websites that these platforms may not be around social media. So at least we can contact you and share this information with you or by email. Okay, you can do that. And last but not least, our community has a community board. On YouTube, you can go to YouTube and hit community for this platform, Ron Lewis Photos on YouTube, and you can exchange photography, text postings, conversation, engage with one another. And next week on the 3rd, we're going to be submitting what we do. If you have a company, if you have a photography company, you have an art company, you have like Hello Healing, like Lisa, or you have whatever your business is, we're gonna put together a list of businesses. So if you have a business list, put it on the community so we can put it on the list. If you have a business that you want us to put a listing of your business on this platform that we can share with the community, like we're doing here now, get it up. So that way, December 3rd and December 4th and December 5th, that's where we're going to be you pushing it. And then we'll have for this community, a directory of businesses. Okay, so let's build community. This is how we do it together. This is how we become better, and that is together. Okay, I hope that helps you all. I hope that it works in your favor. Everything we've done here works for you. And I see Anthony says, after I watch Matthew Jordan Smith, I'll get on Getty and submit some work. I have a lot of Christmas photos. My wife turns our home into a winter wonderland. Nia just did the house, right? She's still working on it. I went around and photographed the ornaments. I photographed the balls and the wreathings, all the little things. And guess what? I'm submitting those. I'm submitting them this week. Use your environments to your advantage. It doesn't have to be as hard as you think. And it says, yes, great idea. Yes, great ideas. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I know we went overtime today. This was a long touch base daily, but it was worth it. I do believe it was worth it. Again, the QR code for our Patreon is right there. Right there. right there. And become a Patreon member and support what we do here. Okay, guys, I think we're good. Tomorrow is our water cooler conversation. It is our last show before Thanksgiving and community meeting before Thanksgiving Day. We'll be back. We'll be gone for the holidays, and I'll be back on Monday. Okay, so Tuesday, because Monday I'll be traveling. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. I hope this works for you. I see Omar says, have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, everyone. Can I put that on the board? Have a great day, everyone. Okay, love you, appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.